All right, what's up, tycoons? Super excited for today's video. We are going to be taking a look at ticker symbol DOT. All right, this is Polkadot cryptocurrency, and I'm going to show you guys the supply and demand zones. All right, and some of the how the supply and demand trading strategy works, and also just some of the patterns, and just going over some of the basic trend lines we have on the chart, breaking it down for you guys, letting you know what we may have coming here in the future. All right, we're looking at the 4-hour chart right now, and we're going to start off with this trend line here going up. And if we look at our RSI, it's going down. All right, that is what's known as a bearish divergence. Okay, so this is meaning that this could be an indicator, all right, that we could see a drop coming. Right, we hit this low here and we bounced, but the price action hasn't really bounced much. And if we look, we're just barely touching the tip of the demand zone. So we have plenty of room to drop downwards into demand. Right, we have this trend line right here to break. And if we break this trend line right here, we could dip a little bit and find find support in here and then come back above this trend line as we've done here previously in the past. Okay, if you look here, we broke that trend line, we came back down, we dipped out of demand a little bit, triggered some stop losses, because that's how these markets work. Okay, especially cryptocurrency, it's done by a lot of bots and algorithms, and there's a lot of stop loss triggering. Okay, so we dip out of demand, trigger some stop losses, and then we come back into demand rally, pull back, find support along that trend line, and then come up. This was our previous supply zone, so it was red. We come in here, rally, fall back down, out a little bit, come back up, and then we turn it to a demand zone, and it flipped from a supply imbalance where there's more sell orders in the market to now there's more buy orders in the market at these levels. All right, so we flip that from supply zone to demand zone. We rally up here into our supply zone, and here is basically our levels that we're going to be looking at to take some profits on if you're trading this. Okay, and like some short-term trades. The supply zone is going to be about 22 up to let's call it 23 and a half. And then our demand zone is going to be about 19.25 down to about 18.4. All right, that's just like the rough levels. So we do have that initial bearish divergence. Okay, that's pretty strong. It's a much longer trend line. We're looking at the 4-hour chart again. So you have to keep that in mind that it's relative to the 4-hour chart. Now let's go down and look at this trend line here, this short one. If we look, this is the trend line we need to break if we want to, have a little bit more momentum and rally and look at possibly breaking this one up here, because we're going to have to break this trend line, this downtrend line, to go up towards our supply zone. All right, so these are the two main resistance trend lines we're going to have to break. And if we break this one, then we can rally up, pull back, find some support along this one, break this one, and head up into supply. But if we look here on the RSI, we have a pattern, right? And I'll just pull this one full screen for you. This pattern right here, okay, is what's known as an ascending wedge. This is a bearish pattern, which results in a drop, okay, in a sharp drop. So we could see this because it looks pretty weak right here. If we don't see a bounce on our RSI, we could drop hard on this one, bringing it back down to like 30. If not, down to like 25, 26. All right. But I think it'll find some support around 30. But we have this bullish pattern, which is a descending wedge, okay, in the bigger. All right. So this one is our descending wedge. All right. And this will have a breakout taking us up to here, up to this level, up to like 60, up to 70. All right. So that's the much larger time frame bullish pattern that we have. And we're also setting up in demand. So I like that setup. I just think that in the short term, if we don't get some nice bullishness and, see some buyers stepping in the market, we do have this little descending wedge pattern right here, or I'm sorry, ascending wedge pattern right here, which could cause us to drop back down to 30, possibly 26. All right. But if we do that, then we'll just be filling this pattern where you go up, down. We hit this coming up, and then we come back down, and then we have our breakout and takes us all the way up, here to the 60s, possibly to the 70s. All right. So that's it for the RSI. And price action wise, a lot of that would make sense. Okay. So let's look at it a little bit more. Again, this right here is the trend line we need to break. Okay. In buying activity doesn't seem too strong right now. So if we fail to break this trend line and we don't find support at this trend line, right, that would link up with our RSI ascending wedge pattern, which causes us to drop. So basically, we break this trend line, we drop, and then we look to find support and look for buyers to step in down here closer to about like 18.36, 18.35 is going to be the level, right, that you're going to want to watch for buyers to step in. Okay. And if we see that, we may consolidate in here for a little bit while the market is kind of just like balanced and kind of agreeing like, all right, hey, well, we just dropped. What are we doing? There's not much action. There's not really a higher movement in buyers stepping in or sellers. So that would cause it to just be in an agreement until we see that buying power step in and break us above this trend line right here. That's when we can have our breakout, possibly break this trend line, and then head back up to these supply zone right here where we can look to take our profits. All right. So that's kind of the trade setup that am looking at right now. I'd be waiting for the breakdown here, catch it in here, go long, maybe take some profit at the top of your demand zone because we could get rejected there. All right, right along that trend line. And then, this trend line would be another area to take some profit just in case we do pull back. And once we have our breakout, then you can keep what you have left and try to ride it up to your profit goal in between, 22 and 23.50. All right. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I also do viewer requests every week. So let me know if you have any tickers, cryptocurrencies, projects you guys want me to cover, or strategies, tutorials, things like that.